6 yards. He was wide open.
After the turnover.
He's got a man.
Harper going deep. Caught.
Whoa, will the real Nebraska Cornhuskers please stand up? Well, this is a game that, just like I said in my preview, that I really thought Nebraska could win this game. Everybody kept saying because of last week, Nebraska did not have a chance. They were going to get blown out. And one thing we've seen with the rule team, especially a Tony White defense, they usually respond pretty decent after a kind of a bad loss, or really any kind of loss or any kind of bad performance. And we saw that with after the Illinois game, and we saw it last year after the Michigan game. And even though I know Ohio State went up there and lost to Oregon in a real good game, if you guys watched that one, and they had 2 weeks to prepare, man, like I said, I thought, I wanted so bad to pick Nebraska to win this game, but I said I really believe it's going to be a lot closer than we thought, and that the points, the 26 points they were giving Ohio State, I said, man, if you're a betting person, I would take plus 26 with Nebraska. But it is, in Columbus, Ohio, so I didn't think they would probably pull out, but I said it wouldn't surprise me if they did pull it out. And they did exactly what I thought. I thought the defense would play well. I kind of worried about the offense. It's still a work in progress. Raiola is still learning, and every game he gets, every snap he gets, every situation he has, he'll get better. Because the one thing is, he's a student of the game, and he learns from what he experiences. So this is a real good lesson. Probably even a year or so, even probably a year from now, this is a different result once Nebraska gets that ball back with about 3:40 left. And there was a lot of things that could have happened, a lot of things that went well. Well, let's put it this way. There's a lot of things that I thought Nebraska had a great opportunity to pull in the lead, to win this game. And it's not ironic if you can't falter one thing. The one thing we could look at this game and say, if you could get this is how all these games can be. And that was the special teams. That was the kicking game. Now, we didn't start off very well. And if you look at it a little deeper, well, you will see that when you watch this game and go through these highlights, you could just see the difference in Nebraska, in their mindset. And what happened last week against Indiana, like I said before, when you've lost as much, and I know everybody said this has nothing to do with it, last year has nothing to do with it, the year before has nothing to do with it. When you got these players that's been here 4 or 5, some of them 6 years, they went through what they went through, especially loss after loss. I'm sure all you guys, if you ever been into it, it starts getting in your head, and doesn't mean you want it in there, and you try not to think of it in there, and you might be going, okay, let's not think of that, but it's there. So it's kind of ironic if you watch this game and you watch how Nebraska played, especially like in the second half, in the third quarter, and they got down there to about the 2-yard line and they went for it. I don't criticize Rule for going for it there. And maybe he was telling the truth when he said he thought it was inside the 1 and not really more the 2-yard line. But it was the play calling. I mean, you're trying to go over the top, and Dowdell was about 2 yards from the end zone. It looked like if he did reach out with the ball, and with it being 4th down, I wished he would have. But I think if he would have dove over reaching out with the ball, once he would have broke the plane, it would have been a touchdown, and it would have been. And I know most players don't do that because it's real easily to knock the ball out, to turn over the ball, and with what Dowdell's went through on the turnovers, mainly last week, and he probably didn't want to do that. But when it's a 4th down call, you might as well do that, because you're either going to get in or it's their ball anyway. So that was been the only thing I would have liked him to do. If you saw that view right down the sideline, you will see that I believe he would have just reached out when he dove over, it would have been a touchdown, and that would have made it a different game. Should Nebraska kick the field goal with the way the game was going at the time, it would have been tempting for me just because you've been holding them down and you've been kind of getting field goals, and that would have made it, I believe, 14-12, which puts you a field goal into winning the game. But I don't think it would have changed much because on their touchdown, they would have then not had to go for two. So they would have kicked and it would have been 21-19. Now, would Nebraska have played it a little different at the end? You got to remember it was third and long, but they would have then only needed to get in field goal range. So I don't know if that would have mattered. To me, it probably would have mattered if they would have scored a touchdown. But the end, what I was trying to get to was if you saw how well the team was doing, how well the defense was doing, especially in that third quarter, and then when they finally did get their touchdown, it was the very next drive that Ohio State was able to go down there. And of course, Ohio State hit some key plays, key third down, and a fourth down where Nebraska did really well on third downs defensively, and especially on fourth downs. But on that drive, they got to keep fourth down. The only thing you really kind of noticed with Nebraska, and that's was there was only a key. Like there's one right here. You could see it with Jeremiah Smith. And if you looked at this is one that Jeremiah Smith caught. I think he's a true freshman. Just looks like a hot route, streak down the line. Probably got by Gifford quicker than he thought. And if you kind of go back to a lot of these, there's only about 3 or 4 plays that kind of got away from Nebraska. And when you're not getting a whole lot of on the defense or on the offensive side, everything is magnified to the point when you look at this. But when you hold Ohio State to only 21 points, you got to remember they got 31 points on Oregon's defense, and was driving at the end when they ran out of time. So when you only give up 21 against a team like this in their home stadium, you got to be proud of yourself. Offensively, if you would have told me they would have got held Ohio State to 21 points, I would have probably then said Nebraska has a real good chance, definitely. But when I predicted my game, I actually predicted 28-24 Ohio State. I really thought if Nebraska could get around in the 20s, they probably had a good chance of winning this. And no doubt if they would have, they could have. But I know rules said there's no moral victories, but I disagree. When you've lost like they've lost throughout the years, throughout the last few years for sure, this means a lot. This could be where they could go in on a mindset and say, look, we just went against one of the top teams in the country, top 5 teams in the country. Could be the national championship of the nation. And this is a morale booster. This says, hey, if we could play Ohio State like this going into Columbus to the point where realistically we could go through this tape and easily see how well we could have won this game. There's not a team or not a game left on this schedule where you cannot win. If we could get this performance, especially from the defense, from here on out, Nebraska could win. They could win every one of these games. They could lose all the rest of the games, but they definitely could win. And I think the key starts with the next one against UCLA. That's one they have to win. Not saying it's going to be easy, but out of the remaining games left, that's probably the best one of them all. And if they could pull that one out, get that 6th win out of the way, I just feel like it's going to be a big difference. I think then you're going to see a more relaxed team. You're going to see a team that's not going to be as intimidated. They're going to be looser. They're going to play a lot better. They're going to get in these situations because they finally got that 6th win out of the way. And so that's why I feel like this is going to be a key for them coming in this game. And you see, this is the field goal. You see now it went to 14-9 right here. And you see, this is how that third quarter had been going. Ohio State didn't get a single first down in the third quarter. They only had about 20 yards, 23 yards total in the third quarter. Nebraska was dominating this game. And if you look at it, this is going to be the key you're going to see when they're going to come up here right after Hartzogs. And man, don't you wish Hartzog could have got in. But nice pick right there. But you're going to see on the fourth down call, on the fourth down play, and you see where that ball's marked. It's basically right around the 2-yard line. Here was a third down play. It looks like he does get inside the one. I think that's what Rule thought they were. But when you see the marker, you see where the line is. He's almost at the 2, and he's trying to jump and stretch over. And if you watch this view right here when they're going over the top, down to the goal line view, you'll see when they show the goal line view, if he would have probably reached out with that ball, if he'd have did the Superman jump right here. You guys see this? When he jumps, if he reaches out, that's a touchdown. And I understand they teach him not to do that because it's easy to knock the ball, turn the ball. But you're looking at fourth down and goal. So it's like one of those where you're saying you're scoring or it's Ohio State's ball anyway. So it's kind of all out. That's the one time you want to go ahead and give it a shot, reach out. But it seemed like once they finally did get the ball to the point where they were able to take that lead. And you got to think Nebraska hasn't had a whole lot of leads against teams like this, games like this in the fourth quarter. And when they have, things haven't gone very well. And so, as well as this defense played, and this is kind of what I said before, and for you guys that seen Nebraska play back when they were really good, and I said this last week, losing and winnings are addictive. So winners know how to win. Winning teams find a way to win. And the sad thing is losing teams seem to find a way to lose. And it's more of just what we were saying, like, here we go again. It's a mindset. This game's a lot of it's mental. And so I guarantee with Ohio State, they're a winning team now. They're at that winning stage. So they're one of those teams that could easily, when they get down, even though as bad as that third quarter was going, knew good and well, we're just a drive away. Let's set it down and go. Where Nebraska finally got that lead, and they're like, oh, man, now the pressure's on. We got to hold them here. We got to hold them here. And if you watch it, Ohio State hits a key third downs, had that key fourth down there. If they stop them there, this is probably a total different game. And I just, you got to tip your hat to Ohio State. They didn't give up fighting. And right here's where they took the lead. But you'll see right here on Nair's, I think that was Nair's touchdown that they said he was down. They say a quarter line, but I think he's right at the goal line. I think it's even closer than that, but it didn't matter. Now, this is one where when Dowdell jumps over the offensive line, man, he goes over cleanly. And if he would have got that same blocking and that same view of going over the top on that one down there on the fourth down play, watch this play. He clears almost everybody. He almost dove about 5 yards. If he'd have got that same blocking and save dive on that fourth down call, it would have been a touchdown down there. And to be honest with you, if he would have switched them, the one where he dove and didn't make it, if that would have been this one, he still would have made it because he was only a quarter of a yard away, and he would have still made the touchdown. Wherein this one right here would have definitely cleared the other one. So that's how close it was. That's how real close this game could have easily went. And I love this play right here. How many times they've been given Jacory on that end around, and then now to do that shovel pass to Fedoni. I hope they throw that in there more. They don't play that much. They don't do that much. But you see, that was another play you just saw there where the receiver was wide open. Just a couple plays, 3 or 4 plays in this whole game where you wish you could have back. But overall, I thought defense play well. We need to get this same defense. Just like I said earlier when we first started, which Husker team's going to show up for the rest of the year? Which one of these are we going to get? And guys, it's really that sixth win. I am so proud of them because you're sitting on win number 5. And like I said before, your toughest win is going to be game 6 because we've struggled and struggled to get that 6th win and go to a bowl game for the last 8 years. I'm telling you right now, they could tell you all they want. They're not thinking of it. They're thinking of it. Once they could get that 6th win, this is a different team. This is a different fight. To me, if they beat UCLA and get that 6th win, I see Nebraska winning 8 or 9 games. Period. I do. But the key is the UCLA. At every moment, mainly if you don't get UCLA, and it's kind of like last year when they went into Michigan State, probably one of the easiest games they had remaining of that last 4. And when they lost that, and everybody's seeing, wow, this was one of the easier teams, it just made it tougher and tougher. I think the pressure just kept building and building. Mistakes kept being made, even though mistakes were being made all year, and they just couldn't get out of their own way. It's going to be kind of the same, but the difference is there's some different players on here. You got some young guys like Ja'Cory Barney. You got Shavers. You got Dylan. You got players on here that weren't here last year, different attitude. Because I'm telling you, I want more of them Florida players like Ja'Cory Barney Jr., Vincent Shavers. Give me some more of them Miami players. They just got a different mindset. When they come up here, nothing holds them back. They don't care they're a freshman. Man, how are these guys going to be in a couple years, next year? So this is a good sign. But I'm telling you right now, if they could get that win against UCLA, they probably win 8 or 9 games. It wouldn't surprise me. If they can't get that win against UCLA, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't get another win. I don't want to say it. I hate to say it. But again, the pressure is going to start build because it's the exact same thing we had last year. 4 games to go, and out of these last 4, the next one's probably your easiest game. And I'm not saying that it's an easy game. I'm just saying out of the 4, this is probably more the easiest game to play. But honestly, UCLA compared to Michigan State last year when they went to that one, UCLA is probably a little better team. The good thing is UCLA is coming to Lincoln. So that's the reason why I say it's huge. UCLA has to travel and come to Lincoln. You get to play this game at home. And then after that, you've got 2 of your last 3 on the road. You got to go to Los Angeles, USC. You do get Wisconsin at home, which is probably might even be the toughest one to play. And then you get Iowa and Iowa City, which I do have tickets for, and we'll be going to that game. But I feel like they're going to do it this year. I feel like they will win that next game against UCLA. They're the better team. If we get this same defensive performance that we're seeing, like in this game, like we saw early in the year, I think Nebraska will end up winning at least 8 games if they win that next game and can give us this performance. But that's the key. Will they give us? Right now, just been unpredictable, inconsistent. That's probably the better word to use. But you see right there on that play, it was another 4th down play that they stopped them. Oh, just great. Look at this. You're talking about an Ohio State team that averaged 7 yards a run for the season. And in this game, they averaged 2.3. And yes, you saw one there where Henderson got away there for a good one, but it was one of the few where he got away at all. Nebraska had a few tackles for loss. They just couldn't get that running game going. And that's probably the key when you play really any team. You got to be able to stop that run. Even if you go back and watch Nebraska when they played Florida in the national championship, and Florida was one of the best passing teams in the country back in 1995. And Tom Osborne, Nebraska, and all that, they talked about we got to stop the run. And a lot of people would say, dude, they don't run the ball. It starts up front in the run. When you make a team one-dimensional, where you could go, if you know what I mean. In other words, you're taking one aspect of the game away from them. Doesn't mean they ain't going to keep trying, but when you take that away, you got the team on the rope. Same with Nebraska. When they could stop, when the teams have stopped their running, when Nebraska really wasn't running well, they didn't do so well. And even though they only got 17 points here, and yes, there's 3 field goals, that's there's a lot of young guys on this offensive side. Dylan's still learning. You got Ja'Cory Barney, who's a freshman. It's going to get better and better as time goes on. More they learn. I love that you saw right here. You can see it right here with Ryle running. I said that if y'all watch my video, mainly on the rash there, I go, we need Dylan to run more. If anything, to put it in their heads. And this was a beautiful run right here. But even if he ran for 3 or 4 or 5 yards, you got to put it in his head where they got to look for that. You know, if you look at teams that are scary, mostly on offense, if you look at scary offensive teams, they usually got a quarterback that can run. They got a quarterback that all out you got to watch for. And even though Raul is never going to be one that you going to have to really worry about taking off all the time, if he could do this more often, I feel like this offense will start moving better. Because when you finally get that big play and you got a new set of downs, it's just a matter of inches when you're looking, and there's another one of them blown plays, one of the ones you wish you had back. But when you're looking at a game of inches, when you get stopped and you're now 3rd and 2 and you get stopped and now you're punting and then you get a new setup. But if you get somebody where the quarterback is getting that first down, even if he got 4 or 5 yards, but gets the first down, you got a new set of downs. It's a game of inches. It's a different game. It's a different ball game. Another thing that helped Nebraska, like I said, they won the special teams. They won the kicking. When is the last time we could say that they were the better special teams in the field goal kicking? Again, 9 points came from field goals. Well, if you've kind of been getting, if you look at it, everybody's sitting here and they're so proud and they're thinking, man, they played so well. They should have won this game. But think about it. If we'd have got the same field goal kicking we've been getting all year, then the Huskers lose 21-7, or you probably say 21-7. They probably wouldn't have went for 2 and made it 8, even though they did get 8 there. And then you're thinking, man, they did it again. Look at this, man, 21-7, even though it's still not 26. And then also, do you even get 7? Because as you miss field goals, the confidence in your team goes down as well. But when you got a field goal kicker now is hitting that 54-yarder, that's hitting what he's supposed to be hitting, now the team's a little fired. You saw where Raiola was fired up a little bit after that field goal on that bull crap of them saying that they didn't get a first down right before the half when he clearly got the first down, probably 2 yards past it. So that's another topic for another day, I guess. So it makes a difference. So I could see some positives in the field goal kicking. Looks like Hull's going to be a good one. He's going to get confident. This game might have been perfect for him. When you could kick here, it's tough to kick in Lincoln, anyway the wind is. And I really had confidence where if they would have came down and could needed a field goal, here's one. Here's that big one right here, right before the half, 54. Shouldn't have been that long. But you even see Raiola was fired up too, but the team was fired up because it looked like they were kind of getting screwed out of that. For him to hit that and for them to take it, even in 14-6, when you go in and go, man, we haven't played very well, but yet we're really one score away from taking the lead or tying this game. Then they came out and you saw some great plays. Dowdell ran hard, had one breakaway, one close tackle from being gone. And I think that's what he was a little upset about when he saw him slap it. And this is the one where I think Nebraska started feeling like, hey, we could win this game. And defense got fired up. The defense started playing better. But, like I said, when you get a team like Ohio State, who's won throughout the last years, winners know how to win. Winning teams find a way to win. just like losing teams seem to find a way to lose. And there's the field goal that made it 14-9. You're now only a field goal away. And that's why I thought on the fourth down call, I even started thinking, but I didn't blame Rule kicking or going for it. But when they picked it off here, and I think I kind of knew what it is. You had Hartzell with a nice interception, takes it down to about the 6-7 yard line. You got first and goal. This is the turning point of the game right here. And I think Rule just said, man, we got to get in that end zone. Is it kind of demoralizing if you don't? And so, like I said, I didn't mind them going for it. I don't know. I might have kicked just because the way the game was going at the time, and then only a field goal away. I just didn't like the play call. That man, if you could have waited till then to do that shuffle pass, if you'd have done the end around and did the shuffle pass there on the fourth down, that might have been it. Because you got to remember they haven't done that all year, and you see they stopped him here, but it's on the next drive when you see on their touchdown, the shuffle pass to Pidoni on the fake end around to Barney in the shuffle pass, and you can see he's just out. He's trying to dive over, go 2 yards in there. He was probably a half a yard short, I think, if he stretches out. Remember, the nose only has to break the plane, and it's a touchdown. And since it was fourth down, I wished he would have done that, but he didn't. But that's the only thing I thought they should have done is maybe the play call should have been different. I do not criticize Rule from going for it. You got to be able to go for the win here. And the way the game was going, it could have been a turnaround right there if they could have got in there, especially if they got in there, got that 2-point, was 14-17. And then next thing you know, they score on the one they did score on. Well, then it's 24-14. And then does that take a little bit out of Ohio State? Or even if they do go down and score, Nebraska basically is able to run that clock out because you saw at the end, even though when they took the lead 21, Ohio State took the lead 21-17, and Ohio State got the ball back, the defense stepped back up again and stopped them where they had to punt the ball and just had a few things didn't go well. Screen that got caught. Ohio State played well. You'll watch them. They read everything that was going and just give Ohio State kudos when it came to that. And again, you learn from that. He'll learn from that. He'll make a better choice. As everything we see here, mainly with Raiola, I think he takes this with a grain of salt. He learns from it and he moves on. Yeah, I see the emotion, the excitement, and all that. But the one thing I saw or I see in Raiola is he don't let a whole lot of things bother him. He doesn't let a whole lot of things bother him when they happen. He learns from it. And you can see right here on the 2-point conversion, fake end around to Barney, I believe it is. And they do the shuffle pass, the Fedoni, perfect. Kind of wish they'd have ran that play on that fourth down call. Not much different. Matter of fact, you're further away. I believe you're at the 3-yard line on a 2-point conversion. So it's more like a 4th and 3 because you only get one play to get that in there. And Pedoni easily got that in there. If that's the one they would have called, it would have been different. So you could go through this game and say, man, we'd have made that stop here. Here's one right here. Boom. Now it's 4th and 1, I believe. But here on 4th and 1, throws that little out. Then I thought they played a little too far off the ball, mainly being on 4th and 1. When they only needed a couple yards, he easily got it there. And then, of course, they get in the end zone, take the lead. I still give Nebraska kudos for coming out and fighting and trying. So, again, I know Rule says there's no such thing as moral victories, but I kind of disagree. Mainly when you got a team that hasn't responded like they should have responded. There is moral victories when you have a team. Let's put it this way. There is moral victories when you're playing one of the top 5 teams in the nation. You have a history of losing, and I know everybody could say, oh, here we go again. We lost another close game. Well, there's a difference in losing a close game to Rutgers, Purdue, Wisconsin, then losing a close game in Columbus, Ohio, against one of the top teams in the country that's lost by only one game by 1 point against another top 5 team in the country. They could come out of there with their heads held high and state, man, we could compete with this team. We could compete with anyone. We could beat anyone. We should have won this game. Would this have been different if we were in Lincoln? That's where there's a moral victory. So I disagree. I really believe there's moral victories. So I'm proud of them. Disappointed, yes. I don't take losing very well. You've probably seen that in me. I hate it. I'd probably take it. I've been told for years, especially by the wives, I take it too personal. It's only a game. I'm so tired of hearing that. It's not only a game. If we all felt like it was only a game, then this sport wouldn't be that popular. It's more than just a game. Wives come and go. Nebraska's always there. That's what I always said back then. Probably why I'm on wife number 4, right, guys? But hoping I can see another national championship or winning seasons like we did before I die in this world. Guys, thank you for joining me. This is my reaction to the game. And again, like I said at the beginning, with the real Nebraska Cornhuskers, please stand up. And I hope this one is the real one. We get this defensive performance, maybe keep improving on the offensive side. Let's put it together, beat UCLA, and I think they'll be a more relaxed and better team the rest of the year if they could do that. So again, guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel out. It doesn't cost you really anything at all. And I'd really do appreciate it if you could do that. And of course, like always, if you could smash that like button. Until that next video, go Big Red.